Hey everyone, Leanne Pilkington back with you for the latest episode of the Laing+Simmons Partner webinar series. And with me, I've got Brad Beer from BMT. How are you, Brad?
Fantastic, Leah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in. Now, tell us, what is a depreciation schedule?
Depreciation schedule is a simple thing that a report that us quantity surveyors do that just spell out how much depreciation a claim that you can make against your investment property is. And it just tells you an amount each year that you take off to the accountant. Average in the first year is about $10,000, so it's a fair bit of money, something that as property investors you want to make sure you take advantage of.
Absolutely. I just so happened to have bought an investment property myself last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And it's 7 years old. It's an apartment. Is there going to be any depreciation left on something like that?
Absolutely. Lots of people sort of associate depreciation with new properties, and new properties get more because they're shiny and new and they cost more. Second-hand properties, especially 7 years old, still substantial deductions in something like that. Apartments, houses, whatever they are, still quite substantial deductions available. So we'll have to get that one sorted out for you.
Yes, you absolutely will. So what would there still be after 7 years? So you can't claim everything up front. It's over time, right?
Yeah. So if it's brand new, you've actually got a claim against the structure, like the concrete floors and walls and roof, for 40 years. If yours is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a claim that's based on the cost of construction, which is why quantity surveyors get involved in the first place.
Yeah.
It's got a 40-year claim if it's new. You've bought it at 7 years old.
Yep.
It's the same amount each year. You've just got 33 years left to go. So you've got 33 years of claim against the structure.
Okay.
So that, and effectively it's the whole construction cost of the hard stuff, which is expensive, obviously. Sure. So it's spread over 40 years and you've got 33 of them left. So still should be plenty of dollars there to claim. Yeah,
that sounds good. I will get onto it. So it's not only for new properties. What happens if you're renovating?
So we talked about you've got that 40 years of claim. If the property was new, you get to claim also on the fixtures and fittings. So carpets, hot water services, blinds, stove, curtains, etc. So being secondhand, you don't get those things unless you replace some of them.
Okay, so if I put a new dishwasher in, for example, then we can claim that. Okay.
So new dishwasher, or if you or even someone else, I doubt someone's renovated the property in 7 years.
I don't think so.
But if it was, when we talk about renovations, the 30 or 40 or 50-year-old house might have some renovations, and any money that gets spent by you or by someone else over those period of time. So if you had bought something that's old, there'd be some claims potentially against the structure, and if you spend on the plant and equipment and the structure that's gone on. So we go and we look at old properties and go, what's been spent, how old is it, how much can we get out of this, basically.
And so if somebody adds a pergola or something in the backyard, does that count?
Yeah, so if someone did that before you bought it 10 years ago, then there's a cost associated with that pergola at the time. We'd go back and say, there's a pergola. When we go to site and have a look at it, that would have cost roughly X, and you'd be getting a deduction each year against that pergola as a property investor that buys it now.
Okay. Will your accountant ask you to do this usually?
We've found over time that we're not the accountant. We don't do those.
No.
The tax return. We just do this one piece of it.
Yep.
The reason we get involved is around the construction cost, and the tax office wants someone who knows about that construction cost involved. Accountant, if they're good. The good accountant should be going, you've bought an investment property, let's go maximise all the deductions out of the property. How do we do this on depreciation? They can't estimate construction costs. So an accountant should say, let's have a look at this and see if we can get something from it. Quantity surveyors are the guys to help with that. So we do find, like with older properties, the maybe there's nothing there myth, the question, the whatever, that a lot of people, especially second-hand properties, don't end up doing it because they're worried whether it's worth it, etc. But a good quantity surveyor should look at it first, be able to have a look at the photos and give you a good indication as to whether there's enough deductions to be worth going to.
So you're not going to just go out and do the inspection and then call me and say, sorry, Lee, there's nothing.
we're gonna do that before we waste that time. And even if we're wrong, even if we've inspected it, we run a double the fee or it's free guarantee.
Okay.
If we don't ask enough questions and work it out before we go, then if we go, we wear it. It doesn't cost you anything, and we just move on.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what does it cost?
Oh, $770.
Okay.
Tax deductible fee. You do it.
Okay. And is it something that you just automatically redo every year? How does it work?
So no, we actually do it when you should do it when you buy the property, and you've got, you'll have 33 years of claims left, and we'll tell you what that is for 33 years. So if you do...
Okay, so you don't have to go out again unless
as I say, if you change, if you just buy a dishwasher, you don't need to you tell how much that dishwasher costs.
Sure.
But if you pull it apart and do a big renovation, we might need another look at it.
Yep.
Or if you just haven't been doing it properly or appropriately, you can go back pretty easy for a couple of years if you've been missing it.
I was just going to ask that question. So if somebody's watching this and it's like, damn, I've had a property for 5 years and I haven't done it.
Absolutely, easily go back and amend 2 years of tax return. Look, it's a bit like if you don't pay your tax, the tax office will find you. If you don't claim your deductions, you can go back and say, I don't know, I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
And you can't go back forever. 2 years is what's easy. But if you've owned it 5 and there's 2 years of claims there, I said before, the average out of the jobs we did last year in the first year was just under $10,000. I mean, if you're at the average and you get two $9,500 claims for the last 2 years...
Happy days.
Yeah, you'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, I certainly would be. No doubt about it.
You're going to be on top of it, though, from the start.
Yes, I am going to be on top of it from the start. That's the joy of being in real estate, right?
Yes.
We know there's some things we do know. There were some changes to depreciation a few years ago.
Yep.
The government made changes to the rules. What did they do and why did they do it?
Look, that, as we sort of talked about with your apartment that's second-hand, a second-hand apartment, since those changes in 2017, if someone buys one, doesn't get to claim against that structure of the against the planned equipment items. They do get to claim against the structure.
Right.
They don't get to claim second-hand carpet, stoves, blinds, curtains, and those things.
I understand.
It does mean that, if you had and it's too late now, but if you bought your 70-year-old apartment before then you'd have some claims against that second-hand equipment.
Yeah,
now you just don't. So it just means as a second-hand property owner, you still get deductions. They're not quite as much as they would have been if you had bought back then.
Yep.
But you didn't, or maybe you did as well, a different property. So we wonder with what the rules are today. So it did make a bit of a change to the deductions on new properties especially. That's where the difference came. And there's just a bigger divide between the new and the second-hand properties in the early years.
So if you're buying a brand new property or off the plan property, you can still claim all that planned?
Absolutely, yes. The only thing that changed is a second-hand residential property. Commercial properties are still the same.
Okay.
And there's a few other carve-outs, but most investors that buy a second-hand property just don't get to claim on that second-hand plan. If they put new stuff in, they can claim it because they've bought it, but it just needs to be not previously used effectively.
I understand. And from memory, you've got an app or you've got something on your site that helps investors get a bit of an idea of what the...
Yeah, absolutely. The depreciation calculator on our website, or it's an app as well, in the App Store.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
Yes, go to the App Store.
So you can actually enter a bit of information about your property, and it'll, with the information you put in, spit out roughly what sort of deduction should be available. You can always talk to us as well. We'll give you an idea over the phone based on a discussion what it might be. And then on top of that, there's another one we built called Prop Calc that's also an app. You can actually go and sort of see what difference that should make to your actual cash flow, because depreciation's a deduction, and $9,000 is good, but it is a deduction that does change how much tax you will pay, but you don't actually get $9,000 in cash.
No.
The Prop Calc app will allow you to put other detail in there around what rent you get, what interest your expenses otherwise, and it'll show you the difference that this depreciation does make as well. So that's a handy tool for investors that are looking to buy or just want to see what might mean.
Yeah, I probably should have done that before I bought, but it's never too late.
You, with your experience, I'm sure, do the the back of the envelope what the numbers should look like, because I probably do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Back of the wine coaster is actually usually the way I do things. Yeah.
I've got a closer idea on the depreciation, with all due respect. So the head numbers, once you've done it for years, are reasonably close. And if you need to get real close, you go into crunch the old spreadsheet or use the apps that are available to those that don't sort of understand it quite as in much detail.
Yeah, and your team are happy to have a chat with people, and it doesn't cost them anything to just get that initial advice. Yeah,
initial idea of what sort of deductions. And I think it's a great thing to crunch your numbers before you buy. As I said, we have an understanding of what those numbers are going to look like. But if you're an earlier investor or a first-time investor, going and really crunching those numbers, it's a great thing to do. So you really know what it's going to cost you after tax to own.
And that's what actually matters. And what it does mean is that people can actually potentially afford something when they weren't sure if they could, right?
Yeah, or knowing what's the net position look like after you've claimed your taxes, and having a good understanding of that, could make that difference, absolutely.
Yeah. And so somebody from your team actually physically they'll have to come out and have a look at my unit?
Yeah, we'd like to make sure we do an inspection on the property all the time, unless, it's a block of units and we've done them all 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
I don't need to go and see yours again.
Yeah, sure.
But outside of that, going and seeing them, making sure that we can find everything, be very comfortable with putting the construction cost on that we can back if you get an audit. Because the ATO does ask some questions down then, and we answer them, and we've been to site, we're confident, and we know we've done nearly 1 million of these things. So depreciation schedule. So getting out and seeing what's actually there, making sure we account for everything, and help to maximise deductions, because that's how you get more tax back out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, makes sense. And how long does it normally take for someone to come out and do that?
We've got to work around a tenant that might be in there, so that might take 2 or 3 weeks, and then normally 7 to 9 working days after that to finalise the report if we've got what we need. And
so ideal to do that before the end of June to maximise your tax year? Yeah,
the claims will relate to the year that you bought the property, absolutely. But the thing is, our fee's tax deductible. You might as well do it in June instead of July, because then you claim it next year.
Sure.
This year instead of next year, and you want to make sure you've got those deductions ready for your tax return. So, through May and June's the time to sort of order and pay, so you at least got it locked in and you can make the deduction for the fee.
Perfect timing.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there anything else that I should have asked you that I haven't?
No, I think there's some basics there. Look, 70-80% of people that not maximise the deduction, don't miss out.
Seriously, is it that many people that don't?
It's from the research we've done in the past, it's around that are not maximising it. Some people are I'm not sure, we'll make a guess, and that guess is a conservative guess usually, because you don't know. Go, an important, as we say, look at it, go see what's there. If it's got a nice granite bench top, I want to make an allowance for that, so you can maximise that deduction. So people try to, I guess, cut some corners, make up a number, whatever they do, and end up with less deductions, and therefore more money sitting at the tax office, where, I don't know, I like it in my pocket. What about you?
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely, always love it.